just made this for some coving that I'm going to do tomorrow. And I'll show you why I've made it when I get to the job. Morning everyone, it's Saturday morning and here's my job for the day. I've got to skim that wall and then I've got to put coving up around this room that I've previously skimmed. This looks good. I don't know how this is going to affect me. I've had some cable fitted along this wall. Hopefully the coving will tuck across it. But anyway, I'll get on with that wall first and then jump on the coving. And I won't show you the skimming of the wall. You've seen enough of that from me for a week, I think. But I will show you the coving and just show you how I set up and stuff. Okay, cup of tea first.
I thought I'd just test this cable with the coving first because it was bugging my head. I couldn't relax until I knew. And lucky enough, yeah, we sit behind there nice. Thank God for that. That would have been a lovely little extra on a Saturday morning, wouldn't it? Chopping all that cable in. Anyway, I can relax now.
And we've got a hell of a lot of cables coming out of this chase. You've got two plastic conduits there. And it's been bonded over, not by me, so I don't know what's under that or how loose they are. But chances are, when they start wiring this lot up, they're going to be tugging on this. And this might all start pulling this bonding forward. So before I even sort of really properly scrim over that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to embed some render mesh on top of that. So not just a scrim, I'll cut a bit of mesh that expands across the whole of that and bed it on up to there, just to take no chances. Because I've got a feeling that as soon as that starts getting pulled, this stuff, it's probably just got a couple of light pins in it underneath, if that, and it will start cracking all that again. And guess who gets the blame for that? Here's the stuff, the render mesh, comes on a big roll, and that will be bedded in to the first coat of plaster across there. So it really spans that, and it's quite strong, this stuff. And I'd recommend, even if you don't do rendering, just grab yourself a roll of that for about 40 quid off Amazon. You can get a roll of that for. And that's really good for lots of situations, especially down the bottoms, if skirting's been pulled off and the plaster is a little bit loose, and not loose, but you know, like it looks like it could possibly come off in the future, or when they put their skirting back on. Just bed a load of that along on your first coat before you skim up, and that will really knit it in actually. It's just good for all round, just covering up areas that look a bit dodgy. So for the sake of 40 quid, do yourself a favour and grab a little roll of that. I thought I'd just show you that mesh being embedded in, just in case you was wondering what I was talking about. So on the first coat, just bed that bit of mesh in across that chase that looks a bit suspect, and then you're ready to skim across it all then. And then you can go home and sleep sound that you've done as much as you can to stop that chase from moving. And I doubt it will, not unless they start really tugging on that anyway. Okay, so when you buy coving, it will obviously come in a wrapper if you buy a pack. And look at that wrapper, because it'll have a picture on there and it will tell you the projection down the wall or across the ceiling. And that will obviously always be different depending on what size coving you're using. So that 62.5 is so we know we've got an equal side up or down, it's the same there. So what you need to do is mark that on your wall down from the ceiling, the 62.5. Obviously offer a bit of cove up, make sure both the flat bits are flat to the ceiling and flat to the wall. And then you can make your first line, and then from that line you can do a level line all around the wall and follow that bottom line. So I'll show you that in a bit more detail in a second. Here's that little block I made, and I've marked that from the top of that at 63mm down from my line. And my laser level, which is this little one, because I can't fit the big one up there, when that shines, this line, now that is your 60, well, about 63mm down. So I'm going to fix that to the top of the wall. So this bit hits the ceiling. Then when I sit my level on it, I know it's going to shine a line at 63. Now, I must tell you, I must confess, that was a total fluke that with that laser on there, that sat at 63. I was going to sit it on the wall like that and pin it to the level I needed. With, you know, with a line, making a line and finding the line. But I did it that way, and as luck works out, that was exactly the height I needed. So I'm not that good. I wouldn't usually get as much luck as that. But you could make it like that, and then sit your level on it and shine it around the wall, and obviously put that up and down from the ceiling to get that exact line. So I'm going to get that fixed to the wall, run the level round, and then I can do a few pencil lines and run a level and join it all with a pencil line in. So I've got that constantly there. So there's a laser sitting on there and obviously shining across the room now. And I've been round with the coving with that little off cut. I shall show you that. So I've been round with this around the room, and that sits nicely top and bottom all around the room. There may be a bit of discrepancy on the ceiling. I mean, it's quite a big room. It's an old house and I did plaster the ceiling, but I doubt very much it's dead flat. There's probably some up and downs, but when I do coving, the only line I'm worried about really is that line. If that deviates a little bit as it goes up along the ceiling, then so be it. Your eye won't really catch that because that's generally going to be painted white along with the coving. But keep that bottom line dead straight, because if people do have different wall colours, you're going to see that when they paint and cut. When you are doing some coving, it's always best if you can have something the length of your coving to rest the coving on while you're buttering the edges up. I've done it before in the past with, you know, two hop-ups, one there, one over there, a bit of coving, and it's sagging in the middle, and it's a real aggro. So if you are able to get yourself, you don't even need one of them ladders or trestles or anything really. All you really need is a 3-metre board and just lay your coving on that. And believe me, that will make life a hell of a lot easier, even for cutting as well. Just being at that sort of height is just easy. Right, the coving is going up. I haven't filmed much of it really as such because, to be honest, I've struggled a bit with this. It's been a pig. I've been using a thinner coving, the 90mm one, and I generally would always choose the 127mm, but this is what the customer asked for. And I'm doing this like a job for a building sort of firm, so it's not for me to sort of decide what they should and shouldn't have. I just go with what they've asked for. And that bit thinner, it's really sort of wants to flop and bend everywhere, so especially when you're under the full 3-metre length. So I haven't filmed much of it. And the laser is doing its job up there, and it did run out a bit over there, so it was running, that ceiling must go up a bit because it was running, so I've had to sort of manipulate it as much as you can without causing too much of a bend in it. You can see it's above. Let me get up on the hop up. You can see the line is above the cove there. So then as I've come down with this length, I've sort of give it a push and a bit of a bend. I don't want to bend it too much as such. So anyways, back to level pegging again then. And then I've got to go into that corner. Well, I'll bring that edge first into that corner and then meet that corner. He's having speakers in that corner, which I didn't know, which lucky I was told a little while ago. that these speaker cables have got to come in 70mm. We wanted it coming out the bottom of the coving 70mm in, so they could fix a speaker on there. But that was just impossible trying to make it come out the bottom of the coving, so I've had to stop and chase that in behind there first, so it comes out at the bottom. You can't start cutting out coving. I had to go, but it was just ridiculous, so quicker just to chop it into the wall really. So I'll probably cut that bit and fit it, and then I'll just show you how to do the cuts on this little end bit, because trying to film and do coving is quite hard on your own, because it's such a messy job and you can't really hold the camera steady. I've got the GoPro there, but I don't think that will pick much up if I set it up. It's nicer to hold it close. Anyway, I'm waffling again. I'll get that a little bit in, and then get this bit cut and show you. Last piece to go in, just this little bit here. I've chopped that cable in there again, because it needed to come out below at 70 in from the corner of that wall for a speaker. Anyway, so we've got the join to do. So we've got basically an internal corner, which is sitting there, and then you join it with the opposite of that, which I've already cut, which is like an external corner. See that it cuts back on itself? That will lay on the face of that bit, because that's been cut so the face is showing. So I'm going to measure into there and cut that, and obviously that will be an internal mitre as well, and I'll show you that on here. I'm going to put you on the GoPro. £34.25. Okay, so let's see if I can spin you around there. So I'm going to measure 34.25 in, on pencil. Okay. So from there, 34.25. And from that quarter, from that end, I want to cut an internal mitre again. So what I use one of these Wonder mitre things. It's a metal one, so it doesn't flex at the corners. So I want an internal corner. So that will go on there. And then I'll run my handsaw along that profile and cut that, and that will leave me with this end being an internal corner. So I shall leave you with the GoPro for that one. So there we have the internal corner. So now I'm just going to offer this up to make sure it doesn't need anything else nibbled off of it, because you don't really want to put your adhesive on it, then find out it doesn't work. Like that. That just needs a smidgen off of the edge, just to let it in a bit more. Before I put the adhesive on the coving, good old SPR again, I'll just give it a little lick across there and on the raw edges, just to kill any dust and suction. And then I'm going to do the same at the top there. So if you can see that, just at the top there where the coving's going to go, I'll just stick a little bit of SPR all on them joints now. I'm just using this just to chuck it on the back of it with. Depending on how I'm doing it, sometimes I use a hook and trowel. You can sort of run it along it and spread it at an angle. Just for today, I was just in this mood really. If I'm honest, I don't enjoy coving. I find it too much of a faff. And because I don't do it a lot, I'm not the quickest, so you you don't earn your money so much, so I'd rather not do it if I'm honest. I'd just rather stick to me painting and plastering. Leave this to someone better than me. But I thought I'd show you how to do it anyway. If you want really proper tutorials, there's some great stuff on YouTube for coving, and they'll go into a lot more depth than I have here. So, but I just wanted to show you a day in the life, really. Okay, so we're looking back up there again. Let's go and squidge this in. Right, that's not the best gap in the world, but you can always fill them. I'm more worried about that end, that joint, just getting that flush. So that's on there. Give these a good, take all the excess off. That's it, and then give it a good wipe with a sponge.